Okay, assalamu alaikum. This is Brother Clifton Raheem Bradley of the Underground Railroad Podcast. Clifton, and you know what? We are going to hear from Mr. Lewis, who's running for the Congressional District in Chicago, Illinois, against I'm not Jesse Jackson, Jonathan Jackson. And we're going to talk about the Republican strategy to defeat Kamala Harris. And with no further ado, I see he's there, but he was really there ahead of time. So, brother, I want to thank you for accepting the invitation to come on the Underground Railroad Podcast in the United States in Chicago. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much.
Good. And brother, can you make a brief introduction of yourself? Because I've already informed the individuals that are looking. We will be talking about your candidacy for the Congressional First District. And I know that you are an alumni of DePaul and you went to DeSable, but make an introduction of yourself, please.
Well, my name is Marcus Lewis. I'm the Republican nominee for the 1st Congressional District of Illinois, seeking the seat in Congress against the current incumbent, Jonathan Jackson, a freshman in Congress as it stands. My whole initiative is to help the constituents of the district because we've basically been shut out for the last 30 to 40 years when you had Bobby Rush for 30 years in the seat, and it's now been turned over to Jonathan Jackson simply because of name recognition. He himself has been associated with Sam Bankman-Fried, a gentleman who gave him $1 million and also gave $40 million to 40 different Democratic incumbents and nominees at the time, of which he's now been convicted and is serving a 25-year prison sentence in federal prison for embezzling funds from unlikely people that gave to him, like Bernie Madoff.
Yes.
It's stolen money that he holds, and he will not give it back. Talking about Jonathan Jackson. He's basically someone that's sitting there, basically being a step and fetch it for the Democratic machine in Congress. He votes in lockstep with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. He's for the, which I'm totally against, the invasion of this country of these illegals that Joe Biden had told in 2020 during the debates to surge the border. Now they're receiving incomes that they didn't work for, Social Security. It's gotten to the place to where the country is in total chaos, and they're standing there watching it burn.
I'd like to ask you one question. You know what? I'd like to ask you a question. My question is, are you like former President Donald Trump? Well, he said that he would not be running if Joe Biden was doing a good job. He had a good life. Are you sort of like that? If you didn't see the decay in the problems, you got a good life, you wouldn't run. You wouldn't even think about it. Am I wrong or right?
We are in similar stages, Brother Clifton, that this is not something I aspired to. Let's put it like that. This is something that I basically felt the need because seeing people not receiving their, they weren't being treated well as constituents. Their issues had gone to the wayside. We're seeing all this poverty, especially in the Black community here, of which the weighted vote is here in Chicago for the 1st Congressional District, and thereby you have to be a Democrat. So now I have to go up that, I'm facing that wind in my face But I'm still believing God that I can win this seat if the people simply have an epiphany and come to themselves and see that we can't live like this.
You know what, and I would say that Jonathan Jackson, who is the current congressman right now, he is your closest rival in the race. Have you debated him? Have you challenged him to a debate? And has he accepted the challenge? I rejected the challenge, and why?
I did contacted his chief of staff, Ed Holm, and he said, well, the congressman is doing a great job. And I said, well, let the people decide. And so he's been sent 3 separate invitations to debate me and to stand before the people, because after all, it's the people's seat. And I did send it also to the women's League of Women Voters, which I've received no response whatsoever. And it came the same that way with the congressman's chief of staff. So they basically, as they say, with the gentleman from India, he had said, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. We're talking about Gandhi. And so they can ignore me all they want to, but November 5th is fast approaching. And the people now clearly see that they have been tricked into thinking that voting for whoever holds the D behind their name, because it's only been through habit, through their family. We got to vote Democrat. And the other place is they will demonize the other side, being Republican, or anyone else for that matter, that look like they're getting a foothold. And say, no, we got to keep them out. And that's the whole basis of the campaign, just to keep them out. But then at the end, they say, we won. And then I say, what did you win? And then it goes back to business as usual. And they say, but we'll see you next election and we'll do the same thing.
My question to follow up on it, do you feel, as a candidate for the Congressional Congress in the 1st District running against Jonathan Jackson, do you feel he does not want to debate you because he feels entitled? He feels arrogant, and he feels that, hey, Jesse Jackson is my father. Do you feel that he feels Operation Pushes? Hey, do you think that he feels entitled, arrogant? Because that is the reason he does not want to debate you on a one-on-one.
Yes, because
why do you say that?
His predecessors never debated. You got to remember, once they feel they have their candidate, which is no more in the front. Once they have them seated, they figure that, what you gonna do about it?
Yes.
We have a block of voters that, in their eyes, are beholden to them.
Yes.
Will enshrine anything that they want for them.
Yes.
They will make sure that they remain in power, and that myself is almost hypnotic. It's almost, and it's insulting, because the people, one time, I will let you know, this is my 8th consecutive run for Congress, Brother Cliff.
Yes.
I ran as an independent in the first, in the 2nd Congressional District, 2012, 2013, and 2014. I crossed over because I would have been a Democrat anyway. I would have caucused with the Democrats. And then I ran for Congress in 14, 16, 18, 20, and 22 as a Democrat. And now I have seen the light.
Yes.
To go the Republican route, simply because I like Donald Trump.
Yes.
Personally, I like him. I didn't say he was perfect. I said I like him because he's an excellent man when it comes to business. He's straightforward when he wants to talk to people that are Black, such as myself. and he wants to be honest. And I am one to not only want to work, but also want to gain the skills, the skill set to be able to build businesses, build and create something. That the people that will first of all last me, like one man said, I want to plant a tree of which I know I will not gain the shade, the benefit of its shade or its fruit. You see, but for someone else that will come behind me, that will say, thank God, Marcus Lewis was our congressman at the time, and he laid a foundation and groundwork for us, and now we can build upon that.
Yes.
You can't do that with the Jonathan Jacksons of the world. You can't, because it's only for them. It's only for their families. And they give you the symbolism and tokenism of, well, you know, we have to keep the seat for us. You know, there's always that nonsense at election time.
Yes.
And take a picture with me. That nonsense, I can't take that to the grocery store.
Yes.
I can't take that to pay my bills, and I can't take that if I wanted to invest. You see, it's strictly selfishness, and they're using the seat that is ours for their own, as if it's a personal ATM.
So, but you feel that he does not want to vote debate you, which is as close as his rival, because of entitlement. Is that the reason? He feels as though I am Jesse Jackson's son. I don't have to. Is that the reason?
They don't, and it's simply because they feel that it's not a job of service. They believe it's a job of entitlement, that we reach the highest levels of government, which he's one of 435 in the House, and of course there's 100 in the Senate, and now they are at the levels of government. So it's their time to now the trough is theirs for which to dip their hat and pull out whatever they want to enrich themselves, because you know Truman said that any person that gets rich being a politician is a crook.
Yes.
How do you make the job is only $74,900 a year. The job is only 735 days in totality before the next election.
Yes.
How do you amass wealth as some of them have, such as Nancy Pelosi, which is worth over $220 million? I mean, how do you buy these $1 million homes when your salary is only $174,900?
Yes.
You're not serving anybody but yourself. And the people understand that. It's just that when it comes to election, they've got this kabuki dance of we've got to keep them people out. You know, we got to save it for us. You know, let me tell you something. My campaign is called Putting Us First.
Put America first. Okay.
Putting us first.
Okay.
You can divide that how you want to, put the United States first, but I meant it putting us first because us is in the name of Marcus. And they are CUS.
Yes.
CUS. And I would like to have us reap the benefits, because after all, it's our seat.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that everybody's going to get rich. No. But what I am saying, I want to offer you the initiatives. I want to offer you the opportunity to put forth bills that you feel that is necessary to hold up your district in such a way that it is preserving for us. You see, this is what's necessary. This is what the job is for, to represent, not to rule over. I don't rule over anyone. I represent you and your interests. And I would be your federal voice in the House floor of Congress. I could go to the president, you see, and tell them the first congressional district needs this, thus, and so.
Let me ask you something. Where is, you know what, how can people aid and assist you in your endeavor to become the congressman of the first district? And how can they help you financially, far as volunteering for you? How can they help you?
Well, I'm gonna tell you something.
And putting pressure on Congressman Jonathan Jackson to debate you? How can they help?
Well, first of all, they can go to my website, MarcusLewisForCongress.org. MarcusLewisForCongress.org.
Yes.
And there they can get a hint and a deep breath of what I stand for.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when it comes to the money issue, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Money doesn't vote. Money is helpful. Money doesn't vote. See, I've learned by running, this being my 8th consecutive time, that having money gives you the ability to manipulate and put your message out. And when I say manipulate, you can do it in a good way, you can do it in a bad way.
Yes.
But I would like to be able to get my message out. But the issue of it is, I'm already in every precinct, of every voting booth when voting time comes, because my name will be right there next to Jonathan Jackson. Mm-hmm. And it is incumbent upon the voter to educate yourself. What do you want your district and country to be? Now, if we're going to go with this same old song and dance, then when you go into the voting booth, you'll just see Jonathan's name, just strike it. Say, oh, that's what I want, and then walk out.
Yes. Based
on maybe one issue, like abortion, or I just like the way he dressed, or some other nonsense. Mm-hmm. That type of allegiance gets us nowhere. That's why we're in the situation we're in. Mm-hmm. And some people say everything's just fine.
Yes.
But everything's not fine. Let me say for one instance, Jonathan Jackson voted against House Res 957.
Yes.
And that was a denunciation of the Joe Biden open border policy.
Yes.
Do you know that Jonathan Jackson voted no? He would not denounce Joe Biden. But thanks be to God, 14 Democrats crossed over.
Yes.
That being said, the influx of illegals, which we don't know who these people are.
Yes.
That on November 5th at South Shore Cultural Center on 71st and South Shore Drive.
In Chicago. Okay.
Jonathan Jackson held a town hall, of which there were mainly a lot of Jacksonites there.
Yes.
But there were some scattered people that basically just came in just to find out what he had to say. Yes. He told the people after some long diatribe, which is hypnotic to take control of the meeting of why we're in this situation, whatever the case may be, in Venezuela and why they're coming on, whatnot.
Yes.
But the bottom line is, he was told that you were going to make us a permanent minority or permanent underclass as far as voting, because these people will have children, and in 20 years, they will be voters, and we will be basically kicked to the curb, outvoted. Mm-hmm. And he said, well, let me tell you something. This is a quote. You can go on YouTube and see it yourself.
Yes.
He said, this is not only a sanctuary city, this is a sanctuary state.
Yes.
That means you can go out to Kenilworth, you can go out to Winnetka, they rich out there, mm-hmm. and you can basically go out there and beg.
Yes.
Now, he didn't say beg, but I'm saying it, because if this is a sanctuary city and sanctuary state, that sanctuary status is not for us. That's the manipulation. It's for those that are illegal, that are hiding. You see, they have where ICE, being a sanctuary city and sanctuary state, let me explain that, means that you will not help ICE to be able to apprehend.
What is ICE? What is ICE? ICE apprehends people that are here illegally, right?
Exactly, and deports them. So he's not going to. So we're not going to help them. But that doesn't help Black people at all. You see, you can go out to Winnetka and you can go out to Kenilworth because they're rich out there and say what? You're not illegal, so they're not going to give you anything. First of all, they would be hard pressed to give us anything anyway.
Yes.
This is the mentality of the Jacksons.
Yes.
Tell them some nonsense, feed them some old gobbledygook, and then say, oh, keep hope alive, keep hope alive. And I'm not, look, it's a great saying, but hope without some sort of initiative is simply what the Bible says, faith without substance is void.
Yes.
You have to have something behind it. Mm-hmm. And so he's not leading us to anything to go anywhere other than stand in place, say we won, and you're abandoned for another 2 years. He doesn't care. They don't care. The Democratic Party has left what they stood for, which was for working class people.
I want to go, but excuse me, I want to go back to after slavery. Is it true that black people that came out of slavery, they were Republicans? I would like to know, why were they Republicans? Because of Lincoln, and why did they abandon the Republican Party? And a lot of them abandoned the Republican Party and then decided to be Democrats. Why?
Well, in my thing of history, as I remember it, the Emancipation Proclamation let the northern states know that we're going to free these people.
Yes.
Though Lincoln himself said he wanted to send them back to Africa. But it was a good strategy because he was losing the war. And he finally, through Frederick Douglass, told him you have to put the gun in the slave's hand. You had to.
Yes.
And then when he did that, they came up with the Missouri Compromise, of which until 1883, black people were in Congress. Black people thrived. Now, whether they were Republican or not, the real issue of it is that slavery came from the Democratic Party. The Ku Klux Klan came from the Democratic Party.
Okay.
Separate but equal came from the Democratic Party. It was only until when FDR, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, saved capitalism. And that's where they went over to be Democrat, because they were starving. People in America, not just black people, but people in America were starving, even though we were able to make a way. The issue now is that I'm asking people to now come to themselves and return to the Republican Party, because under Donald Trump, we have a person that I hope to be in the White House that not only cares for people, but he has a deep concern for black people as well.
Well, is it a misnomer? Okay. Is it factual? Okay. Did the Democrats put this in our heads, that a lot of people says that the Republicans have a tendency to look out for big business, but they don't have a tendency to look out for people that are disenfranchised, are economically unstable? Is this a misnomer?
Well, it's not a misnomer, because the Republican Party has always been for the party for the wealthy.
Okay.
And that's no joke. And especially it was well under Ronald Reagan.
Okay.
And George Bush. Mm-hmm. But since then, under Donald John Trump, who happens to be a billionaire.
Yes.
Well, one, he's always had a history. And see the difference of what I did. I believed all that propaganda they were saying about it, because I thought, oh, here's another man that wants to come and enrich his family and all whatnot. Obviously, he's a businessman. And I always was concerned about business people heading our government, because they're running like a business. And then if you are in need, well, tough. But I found through my education and research on my own, I found out he's a man that has always been, his picture's always been around black people throughout my life. And he is one that actually helped people. There was a black woman that was found in his Trump Tower. And when they found her, she didn't have nowhere to go. And Donald John Trump found out about it. He said, let her stay. And not only did he say let her stay, he paid for a whole year to live in opulent digs of Trump Tower. He's helped black people consistently, giving them checks. Jesse Jackson, James Brown, Al Sharpton, their hands have always been out to receive whatever largesse he would give them.
Now, have to follow up with a question, being a journalist. Now, first of all, people can change. Okay. Once upon a time, it was the Central Park Five. It was 5 people in New York that he put a full-page ad in and said that they did harm or killed somebody, but they found out they was innocent, and Yeah, housing discrimination, but first of all, people can change. That's what I'm going to
Absolutely.
say. So I would
We
like
all
to
make mistakes.
can you address that?
Well, first of all, when the Central Park Five were convicted, he did put out a full page. I'm speaking about Donald Trump. Put out a full, but the difference between him and those that prosecuting knew they were innocent. Donald John Trump, at best, guessed. Now, he has found out that he was wrong and said as much.
But he never printed a retraction. He never did.
But the point I'm saying is, we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
We all make mistakes. Now, what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to just hold that up. That's a political nightstick that we're using, or blackjack. We're supposed to continually break out, well, the Central Park Five. I would ask Black people here in Chicago, as they did in New York, what did you do? If you knew what the truth was, did you put your life on the line? Did you put out your resources to help these brothers get out? See, the problem of it is that it's easy to be what they call a Monday morning quarterback. Then to say, this is what I did. I can say that because I'm trying to help 8 people that at Rush Medical College was kicked out, Blacks and Browns, because they uncovered a cheating scheme for white students. We brought it to Jesse Jackson Jr.'s attention.
Yes.
Found out that Dr. Larry J. Goodman, who was the associate dean at the time over at Rush Medical College here in Chicago, became the president and CEO of Rush University Medical Center.
So you're saying you're saying that we have all sinned, we have all done wrong. Is that what you're saying?
But the continual using that blackjack when it is applicable to make a point, rather than saying, look, we've all sinned and come short of the glory of God. We've made mistakes. Those brothers are free.
Yeah.
Okay. We have those that are here that look just like us, that are homeless.
Yes.
But they're receiving $9,700 every 6 months for rent assistance. They are receiving $2,000 a month in Social Security, never worked a day in their life. Yes. They are living in 4- and 5-star hotels where they just cleared out the homeless encampment everybody knows about on Roosevelt and Canal, and they're sitting out there on the embankment right there by the Dan Ryan and Kennedy Expressway, and they just cleared them out. Why weren't they put in 4- and 5-star hotels? Yeah,
true. You know what? I'm gonna come to that, and I want to ask you real quick: how can people, for people that are just tuning in, this is a live show. How can people help you in your endeavor? How can people put pressure, a call of action to force Jonathan Jackson to debate you?
Well,
how can they force?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna help them. I'm gonna help you out right quick. And whether you like it or not, I don't very much care. I'm gonna give you and your listeners the telephone number.
Yes.
Of the chief of staff of Jonathan Jackson. His name is Ed Ham.
Okay.
And his number is 713.
Yes.
203-4513. Let me repeat that. The chief of staff of Jonathan Jackson is 713-203-4513. Ed Ham is the chief of staff, and tell him it's time for Jonathan Jackson, because he's in a public office. He is accountable to the public, of which he's supposed to be served. You are indebted to debate not candidates, but the nominee of the opposing party, which that happens to be me. I won my primary. I was primary. I won 80.3 to 19.7%. Overwhelming. Now it is incumbent upon Jonathan Jackson to now stand before the people and give an account for the record of which he has made. He also voted against the Laken-Riley Act, which the woman was brutally raped by an illegal. Now, he again voted no. On the Laken-Riley Act. He has a whole host of votes that is not in the interest of us at all. And his laissez-faire, hands-off approach that the constituents are being assaulted in our district by these illegals, and he has he don't say anything. It basically, he leaves us to fend for ourselves.
Do you have any intentions of doing any protesting in front of Operation Push with your group to force Jonathan Jackson to debate? You don't want to disclose that at this time.
That would be the best. But I will tell you, here in Chicago,
you don't want to disclose that at this time. Right?
That's fine. The media here would not even publicize that anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I understand, like any general, you're not going to discuss battle plans with me.
Never do.
I understand. So you might be planning a protest at Operation Push with your thousands of followers to force Jonathan Jackson to come to the debate, but you say you're not at liberty to discuss that not now.
Not now.
Okay. And about my next question is to you: why has the Democratic Party taken the black vote for granted? Black people have been loyal. They're loyal, blind loyalty to the Democratic Party. Most black people. Why? Why have they hoodwinked? Why? Why is it that Tammy Duckworth does not come into the community unless it's an election? Dick Durbin doesn't come into the community unless it's an election. But after the election, they don't even want to be bothered. Why have they done this? And blacks have been loyal to the Democratic Party.
Yes, we have been loyal ignorantly, Brother Clifton. Ignorantly, through as President Trump said, through habit. That they have not. You can have what they say. You can educate someone, and the lesson they learn is the same one they learned 40 years ago. You're not going to get any change. Don't expect any change. And I will tell you, because I saw it myself when Governor Pritzker was campaigning for the seat. He came up, he was at a hotel on South Lakeshore Drive.
Excuse me, you got something in the chat room. They said, as a former student of Jonathan Jackson, I'd like to see that debate. Okay, you want to address that?
Well, the former student I would like to see as well. So I would like you to contact Ed Ham at 713-203-4513 and have you and your constituents and your students and your fellow colleagues contact the congressman and tell him, don't think that you're just going to waltz into another election and having not stood before the people. That's not your job. That's not the job of a congressperson. Now, if it was private, that'd be different. But when it's public and you want their vote, they have issues they would like to see addressed.
But let me ask you again, why is it that, I'm going to say even the aldermen, in Chicago, why is it that they have taken the black vote out of Latino vote? They've taken it for granted. They only become attentive during re-election time. Can you expound upon that, please?
Because they don't care. It's just really, it's just that simple. When you have something that constantly is going to be what Biden thought, when black people, black men especially, were leaving in groves and knowing that he was not going to receive their vote, he basically said, wait a minute, where are you going? I own you. I own you. And you have nowhere else to turn. Who are you going to do? You're going to vote red? You're going to vote Republican? This time, the answer is yes. We have seen enough. And sometimes it's time for us to, when we see the water coming over the bow of the Titanic, and they're in lifeboats. You see, they're good.
And you know what? You're so perceptive. You know what? You have a very keen mind. And that was going to be my very next question. Why are people abandoning the Democratic Party? Okay, why are they abandoning? Like, it's like, I'm not going to say rats jumping off the ship. Why are they abandoning the Democratic Party? I know by talking to people, there are more people that are going to vote Republican and vote for Donald Trump in your party. Why? Why?
Because they see optimism. They see a new hope that we have not seen. Look, Black people don't need a savior or so-called Messiah. No.
Yes.
What Donald John Trump wants to see is that we independently can be able to help our families independently. It's called what he said in the not the last convention, but he said it in one of his rallies. He said, "Be excited about America. Be excited to be an American."
Yes.
Because if we empower ourselves to be able to have the necessary resources, obviously, but the opportunities and resources are things that we can make ourselves. All we have to do, Martin Luther King said, if you want somebody to stop riding your back, stand up.
Yes.
It's time for us to stand up, Brother Cliff.
Yes.
Because the Democrats have lulled us into this, oh, we'll take care of you, just keep it Democrat, but they never do anything for us. We don't get anything. And now we finally can stand up and say, you know what? I don't get anything. They don't give us nothing. They don't make a way for us at all. You see?
Yes.
They are just enriching themselves. I mean, they're telling me Joe Biden is broke. We know Ukraine is no more than a money laundering scheme that $61 trillion, Jonathan Jackson voted to ensure that Ukraine received their $61 billion, of which it's already been noted in Forbes magazine that a third of the money is just gone.
Yes.
All of it. This is not just the 61 billion. I'm talking about the other 165 billion on top of that. They don't know where that money is at. It's been skimmed right off the top. That's our tax dollars. And what did Jonathan Jackson say about it? Nothing.
Yes. Operation Push. My what my next question is, first of all, do you think that President Joe Biden, he did the right thing by dropping out of the race because of pressure? And Kamala Harris is really, really rising in the polls and getting a lot of. What is your observation? Can you give us a synopsis on that? What did you think about him dropping out the race?
He was pushed out. No. He was pushed out. Let's be clear. People don't relinquish power.
Yes.
They just don't do that. No, I'm talking about passing the torch. He said days before, I'm staying in. I'm not going nowhere. Until, but see, he was no more than a puppet. He was truly a disservice. I'm going to tell you point blank, I don't believe from the bottom of my heart that Joe Biden won the 2020 presidential election at all. I've seen too much evidence of chicanery, especially down in Fulton County, where they had these black tables that they said there was a water main break. And everybody had to leave, poll watchers included, Democrat and Republican. And then all of a sudden, but Donald John Trump knew that there were security cameras. And these black tables were sitting in front of the counting machines. What did they do when they told everybody to leave? All of a sudden, these people that were working counting the ballots went to this table and pulled out these boxes and opened up the boxes before the security cameras, not realizing they were being videotaped, and was pulling out ballots. And they were shuffling them into the machines of where they were counting, and they only had one name on them, and that one name was Joe Biden. Now, we went to sleep thinking that Donald Trump had won Georgia, as he did Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Wake up in the morning, all of a sudden now Joe Biden's in the lead. How did that happen? And then they showed this great spike There were no ballots counted for that said John Trump for president at all.
I got to follow up.
Joe Biden. Now you don't tell me.
I got to follow up.
Me that was correct. No, and that's where Mike Pence was wrong, because Mike Pence had the right to send back the electoral count back to the states for reevaluation.
I have to follow up. I have to follow up. And you know what? I would say, you know what, through the news media, there's no evidence whatsoever to prove that this election was stolen. They have recordings of him asking people to find votes, and they have went to jail. This is not what the news. What you're saying is fake news. That's what you appear to be saying. But there's nothing that can substantiate that.
Yes,
it's
it is.
being the truth. I'm talking about in the news media.
I will tell you, first of all, the news media is corrupt. We don't have a free press, Brother Clifton.
Okay.
As you probably well know. If you have a free press, that will tell both sides of the story and let the people, the observer, decide. No. CNN is Clinton News Network. You have MSDNC, which when you have news organizations advocating for one side and not the other, that is a corrupt news. That's why he said it's fake news. In a simple phone call, which people do all the time for various things and what they want.
Would you say that Fox Television does the same thing?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Fox, because let me tell you something. Fox is what they call 666, because F, O, and X on the numerology chart is under the number 6. So this is why you get all this demonic nonsense coming out of them. It's just to distract us on stuff that have nothing to do with our life. Just like Kamala Harris is simply a distraction. This person is totally unqualified. This person did whatever it took in ways that were, to me, ungodly to get as far as she has. Now, you can say whatever that might be, but it wasn't on qualifications. It was on who she knew, who
San Francisco. I know.
Absolutely. And San Francisco. And also, Tulsi Gabbard in that wonderful debate that cut her and ended her presidential run when she told the public how she had known knowledge of the person that was innocent, that was black on death row, had the information that this person was innocent. And it took the courts to stop her from putting that man to death. Now, and she knew it. It wasn't something that, I didn't know, and never apologized. And the news media was absolutely silent, as it is what's going on here. Let me tell you something. Joe Biden is the result of a stolen election. We had nothing but absolute chaos. We've had what government throws open the border? 94 executive actions he undid from President Trump. And we have people flowing over. I'm talking about flowing into our country. And this thing called Brandon Johnson, who is another step infected, he was told about, how are you so in love with these illegals? He said a few months ago, I'm committed to them. And the response was, they didn't vote for you. What do you mean you're committed? Oh, I remember when he was so-called elected and he went in his room with Pritzker and he come back out, Pritzker smiling. Same thing they did for Lori Lightfoot, because Rahm Emanuel said, he said he gave her a binder and he told her, don't drop the baton. They have an agenda that's not for the betterment of the constituents of which they serve. It's all to bring in an agenda that is corrupt, perverse, this sodomy and Gomorrah type lifestyle. Even in the schools of our children, they locked us down with that foolishness called COVID. COVID wasn't a virus, my brother. COVID stood for Certification of Vaccination Identification, meaning papers, please. They wanted, their agenda was that everybody would be locked down and everybody would be force-fed those shots. But you ever notice something, Brother Clifton? The illegals don't have to take it. The illegals aren't even tested. Did you know that, Brother Clifton? You see, it was an agenda to overthrow and undermine the United States of America government and the freedoms that totally go against the U.S. Constitution, of which I gladly will uphold. You see, freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom of religion. These people would want to be freedom from religion. You see, God is in God we trust. We ain't talking about G-O-D, gold, oil, and drugs. I'm talking about the God of glory. And I firmly believe he's Jesus Christ. But to whomever, there is only one God. And he said, and the Bible said, God said,
Testing,
there
testing,
was
1, 2,
another
3.
God. He said, I never met him.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3.
You okay, Brother Clifton? Take your time. It's going to work out, Lord Jesus. He says he can hear me.
Come back in. Oh. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Oh.
Can you hear me? Lord Jesus.
Okay. What I'm gonna do?
Yes, Brother Clifton.
Yeah, can you close out and come back in?
I sure can. You want me to close out completely?
Okay. You can close out completely and come back in, please.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay, I don't know what happened. You said it was rigged. I don't know what happened, brother.
Yeah. All right, I'll be right back.
All right, Dale. Oh, man. Oh. Oh, boy. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay, can you hear me?
I can.
Can you hear you? Can I hear you? Okay.
One more time.
You know what? Just do it by phone.
Yes, sir. Brother Clifton. Brother Clifton.
You know what? We just do it by we just do it by phone, okay?
All right, that's fine. Can you hear me now?
You turn the echo out.
All right.
Okay. So, hey man, you know something? When you said it was rigged, I don't know what happened, brother. I don't know.
Yes, it was rigged, my brother. The whole 2020 presidential election was rigged. President Trump had a right to inquire why he couldn't find 11,780 votes. He was basically asking the governor to skim, being a Republican governor too, to skim the bottom of the pot or the bottom of the barrel and make sure that all votes had been shaken out. That was within his right. There was nothing illegal about it. He didn't say make 11,780 votes. He said, just tell me if you can find, because obviously, and they did. After the election, they did find votes from that were for the election that had been lost, but they found them.
Yes. But you know what? But I have to say this unsubstantiated by all major news agencies.
Of course, they're corrupt. They're all in on it.
Okay. Hey, I got you. You know what? I would like to ask you. Do you think the former President Donald Trump is right or not setting a debate? Yeah. Well, Kamala Harris seems to be getting a lot of steam. She's just getting a lot of momentum until she picks a vice president. Do you think it's in the interest of former President Donald Trump to debate Kamala Harris? She's a strong debater.
Yes, he is. He's a wonderful debater. He's a masterful debater. But he said he's going to wait to see if she becomes the nominee. That's within his right. Now, he did say he was going to, he did debate before he became the nominee, obviously, but under those circumstances, it was different. This is where they quickly took someone out that had the delegates. He had the delegate count in his hand. So they basically threatened him with probably something he had done in his life. And they said, if you don't, we're going to bring this out. Look, you got to go. That's why he was kicked to the curb, all right? And then this so-called handing it off to Kamala Harris, of which Barack Obama is the puppet master. He's the puppeteer of all of this because he was a puppeteer. If you remember when President Obama had went to the White House, visited the White House last year, and Joe Biden acted like a groupie. He was trying to get Barack's attention, and he's tapping him on his shoulder and whatnot, and Barack is doing all that smiley stuff. Barack was very well aware that he had the crowd in his hand because he said in 20 on 60 Minutes that he said, if I could just have, a little earpiece and I could sit down in my basement and I sweats and I could just put the words in the person's mouth, his or her mouth. And he said, I'm fine with that. Well, that's what he's been doing with Joe Biden. Joe Biden, the only thing they needed Joe Biden to be was the president and his signature. Who is running the White House after they trotted him out on the first debate, June 27th, to go up against President Trump. And President Trump literally took him to the woodshed. It was like, I remember Muhammad Ali was fighting this man, I forgot what his brother's name was, started with an L, and he was hitting Muhammad and looking back at the referee said, when are you gonna stop this? I'm gonna keep hitting him. He keeps standing up, but he won't go down. So it's like, when are you gonna call this thing? And so they put Joe Biden out there. He got ripped to shreds. They did that purposely to show Joe Biden, because first of all, he wasn't on the drugs they'd been giving him. And they just sent him out there and showed that you are going to be out. And the media said, wow, that was awful. That was terrible. But Barack now is going to be backing this Kamala person. This only a honeymoon period. And all this other stuff is coming out because the woman is an Indian. She's not black. Even the media is saying, oh, she was an Indian as a vice president, but now she's a black person. When did that happen?
Yes. I like you to be questioned in the chat room. Kamala Harris will make it harder for American people, especially Black Americans. Many people are saying that she can't relate to blacks because she's Caribbean and Indian bloodline. She also said that there's no racism in America.
Let me drop some here. I don't really care much for what this person said because this person, first of all, she was supposed to be the border czar, but wouldn't go to the border. I remember the man from NBC asked her, well, when are you going to the border? When are you going to the border? He said, well, we've been to the border. He said, but I haven't been to Europe. I mean, this is the nonsense. Listen to what the person says. The person is idiotic. The person has no sense of serving the people other than serving themselves. All they want is the perks, Brother Clifton. They don't want to serve the people. Can't you see? I mean, nobody has to be blind, but who are you going to vote for? Because they're saying, oh, I can't vote for Trump. Why not? The man has an agenda for America. It's called Agenda 47. And he has 20 promises that he has made. One, the illegals are out of here. If you are an illegal, get packing because you ain't going to be here long.
Okay, can you address the question from the individual that left something in the chat? That's important. They're taking time out.
And I appreciate Brother Mars Lowell. Let me tell you, she doesn't relate to black people at all other than to black females that are sorors of hers. Because they have this gender thing. The gender agenda will not feed our families. And many people, as you said, see that they can't relate to blacks because she's not black. She doesn't have the black struggle at all. We know what the black struggle is. I mean, I know you didn't wake up yesterday and became black in America. We don't have the resources that we should have had. I believe in, let me tell you, Marcus Lewis believes in reparations. Why? Because descendants of the horror of slavery didn't get 40 acres and a mule.
Yeah.
We weren't paid for 250 years. And this country has been built up, of which everybody is enjoying its benefits off of our descendants' backs. My family is from slave family. We can find ours all the way to Sally Hemings and Thomas Jefferson, the Woodson family, of which I'm from.
Yes.
My family forefathers should have had something to hand down to us, that we would be in a better position than we are today, instead of always starting over. Kamala Harris will do nothing to help your cause at all.
Okay. Here's something else in the chat. Is it necessary to claim that the 2020 election was stolen in order to win?
I'm not using it to win. I'm just telling you the fact. Whether you agree with it or not, that's up to you. But I am saying, look at our country. If Donald J. Trump remained the president and he would now be coming to the end of his second term, we wouldn't have 20 million illegals ripping and running, raping and beating and killing American people that are receiving largesse that they would never have offered to us.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be getting Social Security, $2,000 a month, without having to have worked for it. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is ridiculous. Let's start getting into the now, not into the past, but into the now. The election, in my humble opinion, and I said my humble opinion, was stolen. Because you can see the results of a Joe Biden, Kamala Harris administration. They are absolutely lawless, as is the Democratic Party. What else can we do but call on God to send someone else to put them in these seats to help rein in the troubles that we're going through? If they get another term, this country is done.
You don't know, how do we know if people that just tuning in, how do we help your campaign?
I'm running for the seat for the 1st Congressional District of Illinois, majored in Chicago and goes all the way down to Bourbonnais, Kankakee. You can help me by going to my website, marcuslewisforcongress.org. You can call me at 708-287-7531. That's 708-287-7531. I need you to go out and get your friends and get them registered to vote, because we need voters. And those that need to cross over, they need to cross over, because we voting red. And we voting Donald Trump, and we voting down ballot red. No more blue, no matter who. Because we've seen you gave them 4 years, and look what they've done with it. Look what they've done to our country. But you need to start calling yourself an American for a change instead of just trying to lay back and receive just being here. Because Sandra Day O'Connor said one time in a Supreme Court decision, we ought to be glad to be here. No, I am an American. And there are rights, privileges, and benefits that go along with that. Leave this country and find out what being American is all about. That's why everybody and their father is trying to come here. But we must stand up and let's do something different. If you want something different, you have to do something different. Voting for Marcus Lewis on November 5th on early voting is the right thing to do.
Okay, 2024. And are you urging your followers, your organization to pressure Jesse Jackson's son, Jonathan Jackson, to debate? Are you urging? Do you have something planned? Like a protest? You said you can't discuss that.
Well, no, I can. No. Let's, because the time is short and we must be candid. I must be straight with them. It's time out for secrecy. The issue of it is they choose not to debate. Even if 100,000 were to have surrounded them, they would use the media to say those are rabble rousers out there looking for trouble. And of course, you see that we couldn't get, there's no venue that we could have that would be safe. You see, that's how they would play it. Let's stop. Leave them to their own devices. Vote for Marcus. Marcus Lewis is the best for Congress. Vote for me on November 5th. And I will show you the 35 days that you will give me. I will stand up for you. I will represent you. And I am not in it to get rich. I'm in it to help somebody that wasn't receiving any help at all from our United States government.
And you got questions in the chat room, and it would be a disservice not to address those questions.
Bring them on.
So you could read them. You said, okay, the question is, was 2016 rigged also? The election.
If it was, at this moment, it doesn't matter. Because we're talking about 8 years ago. And if it did happen, I don't like rigged elections where we have the wrong people in these seats, because the result shows they were the wrong people. But 2016, we had Donald J. Trump. If it had not been for his elevation to that office, we wouldn't know how corrupt our government has become. Yes. So no, it was not rigged.
The question is, it is dangerous and harmful to the nation. Claiming the election was stolen. Would you like to address that?
Yes. Let me tell you something. The truth is the light. I said it was under my humble opinion. But look at the result. Do you like what you see now? We have 20 million unknown people that are ripping and running under the, like they're on vacation, because they're being supported by your tax dollars, by a person that doesn't know he is there, by people that said, oh, he's sharp. He's as sharp as a tack. He runs rings around us, and then find out he can't even talk. They've been lying to us. Where are you looking? Are you looking at my words as offensive? You ought to look at the actions and what they've done to your country. If you live here, our country has been destroyed, and we must rebuild it.
Another question is, keeping the border secure was a great idea for not letting illegals come into this country. First, naturalization ways to become American citizens.
Let me tell you, I am for immigration. I am not for illegals climbing the border. And let me tell you something, it's not just being at the border. They have been flown in. Joe Biden and company have flown tens of thousands of illegals from all over the world into our country, flown them in. They were on first class planes, business class, and coach. You need to wake up and find out what has been happening in the last 3.5 years of this man's presidency. He has been treasonous. Him and Kamala and their whole Democratic machine called the Democratic Party.
Yeah, but the question is, I don't like what I see, but there's no evidence that the election was stolen, even according to federal judges appointed by Donald Trump.
Let me tell you about that. Let me answer that. The Supreme Court was in Donald Trump's favor when 26 cases went to the Supreme Court, and Trump's Supreme Court took none. To me, it was cowardice, because they were the arbiters of what the law is, and there were issues that needed to be legally resolved properly instead of dismissing them head out of hand. They had to get involved, and now they've been allowed to be threatened because the Pelosi, when she was the speaker, wouldn't protect the Supreme Court justices that Trump put in. Even death threats. A man went with a gun and a knife to kill one of the Supreme Court justices, Kavanaugh. And you saw Schumer threaten Kavanaugh and Gorsuch on the steps of the Supreme Court, saying you're not going to know what will hit you. That is a threat. That is treason. Start looking at what this country is engaging in. This is treasonous, threatening, overthrow behavior. They want to overthrow our Constitution, and the Supreme Court, to me, at that time in 2020 and 2021, was cowardice to take no cases for Trump. So what are you saying? He didn't get no help.
I'd like to address this issue. The DOJ, the Department of Justice, said that that was evidence that Donald Trump, former President Donald Trump, documents home, and he should be charged for that. But the DOJ said when Joe Biden took a back, he said he was just forgetful. And it's the DOJ being weaponized against Donald Trump because they did nothing about Hillary Clinton with her emails that disappeared. And Hunter Biden was it weaponized?
Yes.
Because they said that Joe Biden, he's just a forgetful man. He had a document that was classified.
First of all, there's a place called the SCIF, where these House members and senators are allowed to engage in looking at documents that are very secret, but they can't remove them from that room. They can't take cell phones, take pictures, they can't do anything. And some have been caught, I forgot his name, but he got caught putting secret documents down in his sock. You see, President Trump had the Presidential Records Act, which gave him the right to make any document to be under his control simply because he's the president. Now, Joe Biden was vice president and a senator. He did not have that power. So let's talk about what's legal. The Department of Injustice under Merrick Garland has come out and used the Department of Justice against Donald Trump in all of these cases, including those fraudulent 34 cases that was, let's be honest, it was a Democratic Attorney General under Bragg. It was a Democratic judge where the lottery in that case didn't go to the open lottery. He took that case himself, being a Democrat, and a donating a Democrat to Joe Biden. And his daughter is received over $100 million she made off of that case. You tell me, and the New York jury pool, which should have been outside of New York City. It should have gone to another venue because you're supposed to, the defendant by the Constitution is guaranteed a trial by the jury of his peers and one that would be unbiased. No, they had to be leaning in one way. They got the result they wanted. And you call that fair? That the third in command, Michael Colangelo, was the third in command at the Department of Justice. He takes a low totem pole job to be a prosecutor in this case. He wanted to ensure Donald Trump's demise. He was the one that gave the opening salvo of the opening remarks on the prosecutor's side. It was a fixed fight from the get-go. So you all can be anti-Donald Trump all you want to, but I'm going to tell you once again, if Donald J. Trump is not elected president of these United States November 5th, this country is done.
Question. This is in the chat room. Donald Trump does anything wrong?
Of course. But the issue of it is it to the point that he can't become president? I mean, there's some things about Joe Biden. There's a woman named Allie Carter that said Joe Biden and Barack Obama raped her when she was 13 years old. She's on now running for her life. Her testimony has been taken by a news organization that said she has to move every 3 days. Every 3 days.
See, that's not in the mainstream.
Of course, it's never going to get there either. It's never going to get there. That's why you can see that we don't have a free press. It's a biased press.
Yes.
You see, and you're going to pay for that. It's fun if you feel that it's not the one, it's not Joe Biden or Kamala Harris that's being run around with 94 charges. Oh no, that's not your person. But when it becomes your person that's being gouged like that, oh no, that's not fair. Oh, that's not fair. What is fairness to you then?
I have a question for you. You know what I can anticipate this question. Does it bother you that there are women that come on television shows, ABC, every single day? Big old Johnny Houston and does it bother you that the women that come on the television show, it comes on Channel 7 in the morning, the dog got me put down and tried to demonize former President Donald Trump every single day. People that don't know the show, it's like ladies that sit in a round table and they discuss the news, but they don't. They not dog. They say discouraging things about former President Donald Trump. Does that bother you?
No, because they have no legislative arm to do anything. They're propagandists. They're manipulators. They're what they call influencers. But who are they influencing? Anybody that watches that show, you need to rethink your time that you are spending.
Yes.
Because all you're trying to do is get your daily fill of nonsense. I mean, let's be real. If that's what you want to do, go right ahead. But thanks be to God that they have no legislative enforcement of what they say. So they can say whatever they want to. We have a lot of what George H.W. Bush used to call people like that, talking heads.
Okay. Another question in the chat room. Why should we vote if the election can be stolen?
That is a good question because the election can be manipulated and to the point where the side that loses feels that it would be stolen. Anytime you have that type of threat, then it is incumbent upon America and Americans to ensure a fair election that we all, winner and loser, can say that was as fair as it could be. But when you have this collusion, where you have all these drop boxes, where it's been shown that people are going and are taking handfuls of ballots, they're being sent ballots to people that are dead. They're being mailed ballots to every person. They didn't ask for them. Now, if you were absentee, you're going to be on vacation, you won't be here. That's fine. That's one thing. but they're sending out ballots. Some people in other states said they received 6 ballots, as many as 6. That's 6 votes or 5 votes that that person not supposed to have. And if it's like that, they're printing them like a printing press, so they can dump them into the election. They are trying to make sure that illegals, it's against federal law. Illegals cannot vote. Democrats are doing everything they can through the DMV, getting them licenses, getting them documentation that they can say that I live here, I'm registered to vote, same day registration. And this will be dumped into the voting pool, and it will dilute real American vote. This is the threat. That's a stolen election.
Okay. You know what? But okay. Got you on that. You know what? Something in the direction I would like to ask. Question about school sanctuary. Do you blame someone that is coming from Mexico to come to the United States, illegally for the United States, and CIA operatives have caused destabilization in there. I think to blame someone to come back.
Anyone that's hungry, that sees food, wants to eat because of the natural urge. Everybody wants to come here. The problem of it is that there are so many that have been doing it the legal way, that have been waiting in line, didn't jump the line. They say, I want to be here too. I want to be in America. But you have to come in and assimilate to the way we live. What's happened is they dumped all these illegal people in, and they're saying, I ain't got to do it your way. I'm doing it my way. They don't care about the culture. They don't care about the livelihood here. They don't care. Neither do the people that brought them here, that permitted this. This chaos, if you like chaos, you got it. But it can't be, as Donald J. Trump said, it can't be sustained because we are paying for it. I'm talking about for real. We're paying for it.
That was my next question. My next question is, the people that are coming to these sanctuary cities like Chicago, New York, and California, are they draining capital of money from the Social Security system and Medicare? If so, what would be the outcome?
The outcome is that you'll have a collapse in everything. You'll have a collapse in Social Security. You'll have a collapse in the medical system because, one, there won't be enough doctors. There won't be enough resources to go around. You won't be able to see a doctor for 5, 6, 7, 8 months. This is unsustainable. I'm talking about, can we have adults be in these seats? Can we have real adults, not the Jonathan Jackson, not the Kamala Harrises, not the Joe Biden, not the Barack Obamas, because Barack Obama didn't do anything for Black people specifically. Kamala Harris said, she was asked in an interview, do you believe in reparations? She said, no, I'm not going to do anything specifically for Blacks. No. This is who you want to vote for? All to keep Donald J. Trump out? You need to be re-examined of your American status, because now it's not so much you vote for Republican or vote for Democrat, Brother Clifton. It's a matter, is our country going to survive as it is right now and has been? It's on very shaky ground. It's true, we had a 3-legged stool, and one leg is about to collapse. And you mean to tell me that you are willing to watch the water come over to the bow of your Titanic, and you're saying you're okay with that? You need to reassess. Well, then won't you just leave the country? Why don't you leave the country? If you don't like it here, there are others that will be glad to take your place. But I'm asking and talking to Americans that want better. I am your man.
You know what? Can you address this issue? That there are people that are coming into sanctuary cities like New York
that is already
overpopulated Chicago, California, and they are putting them in luxury hotels.
Yes.
They are veterans that are sleeping up underneath bridges.
Yes.
People that serve in the military. Can you respond on that? I don't get it.
The people that are asking these questions, talking about stolen elections, this is a result of a stolen election. No. I'm just making a point.
Okay.
When you have people that are supporting illegals as if they were Americans, they don't do Americans like that. The veterans will tell you if you go to any veterans hospital, they don't have the resources they should have even before the illegals got here. And for those to set up these sanctuary cities, which President Donald J. Trump said day one, we're going to end sanctuary status in America. It doesn't work. We're not going to hide these people. We're not going to coddle these people. These politicians that are gaining all this money. Brandon Johnson has spent over $400 million.
Who's Brandon Johnson? People don't know.
Brandon Johnson is the mayor of the city of Chicago. Totally unqualified for the job he holds. He's no more than a puppet and a puppet for the Democratic machine here. This person has spent a king's ransom, all this treasure on people that aren't Americans. How can you look an American in the face? He doesn't care. That's what I'm trying to tell you. He will tell you that these one-term politicians, such as Adams in New York, he's one term. He had to swallow and do as he's told, or they're gonna cut his money off. Remember, the governor there said, she said, come, we have restaurants, we have hotels, we have all these luxury items. We want you, we've come here. And they came. Now they're telling them, please don't come no more.
Question in the chat room. Listen, if we ask scrutinizing questions, that makes us anti-Trump?
No.
Okay.
No. Ask the question. The issue of it is, if you don't like the answer, I'm going to give it to you straight with no chaser. We are in a situation that this may be the last election we ever had. If we don't put mature people that know how to handle a country, not rape it like they're doing now. We need these people out of there. We need Donald Trump as president because he not only has an excellent business, the Trump organization, he was president for 4 years, had no wars. He said, I'm going to bring that Ukraine-Russia war to an end in 24 hours. Joe Biden ain't saying that because he's not trying. He wants Ukraine because that's how he and his people are getting money. They're getting our money. You see? Now that's being put on the back end. Down the road, he'll be dead and gone. But their people, he wants to ensure that these people remain paid. They haven't built anything. Donald Trump knows how to create and build things. I'm an inventor. Look me up, Marcus Lewis. I have 2 or 3 patents out there. I have a commercial I made for McDonald's, which I believe they've taken pieces of it. We love to see you smile. They had Smile campaign. And there was several others that I believe took bits and pieces. That's what they do. It's called stealing. And they used to call it sampling. But the thing about it is they got rich. The point of it is that's what happens in a capitalistic society. Is it wrong? Is it right? No. But that's the society in which we live in. I'm not saying everybody thieves, but you want somebody that knows how to drive the car. You want somebody to know how to drive. When you get on a plane, you don't say, give me the resume of the pilot. You don't say somebody drive the bus. Give me the resume of the bus driver. Or somebody on the train. Give me the resume of the trainer. You don't know and you don't care. You just already believe that they are competent. We need competent leadership, sir or madam. And if you don't want that, you got it right now.
Bitcoin. Okay. President Donald Trump was at
in Nashville. He went to a Bitcoin
Can you tell us what
NASDAQ.
that was about?
I'm not for Bitcoin because I don't want anything challenging the U.S. dollar, the U.S. currency, because they can't even explain it to you. I was listening to it today, and those that are experts in it, they never explain it. They just want no regulation. They want government support, but they want no regulation. Remember a thing called junk bonds? Oh, that was the it thing at the time. And then they became what they were, junk. Just like, look, this is what happens in America. I don't want to see another currency challenge the American dollar, because if it's virtual, it can be taken away from you. I want it in my hand. That's called freedom. Hello, everybody. Freedom. They said, if you think you're free, you're dumb. I want freedom. I want the money in my pocket of which I can grab and touch and feel and count. I don't want it to where it could be there one day and you ever have a credit card and all of a sudden you go there and you swiping, and all of a sudden it says decline, decline, decline.
You know what? I got another question about sanctuary city, but before we go to the other segment,
please, if
you like this broadcast, I urge you to share it on social media and press the thumbs up, thumbs down on the YouTube page and other social media platforms, and leave a message. Tell us how do people help you again? But I got another question.
You can go to my website, marcuslewisforcongress.org, and I'm going to tell you something. I'm not asking for your money. What I'm asking you for is to go out and get voters to vote for me, because this election is a priority. It is a priority number one. If we don't win, you're going to continue on with a person who thinks he's going to sit there 30 years or until the time he passes away, and you won't be able to get him out. This is the opportunity of a lifetime. That this seat hasn't had a Republican in it in over 50 years. It doesn't matter about Republican or Democrat. I'm the right person for the job, because if I don't do well, you best believe they will coalesce a campaign to get me out. But once I'm there, I will bring transparency, and I will advocate for the things, not just advocate against, but advocate for. We need resources to come to the 1st Congressional District. It is majority Black. They drew it that way. And the Black people are suffering. Hello, let me repeat that. Black people in the 1st Congressional District of Illinois are suffering.
Do you feel that you're right? You're Jonathan Jackson. This is right. He's scared. He feels he's scared.
He's what you said and more. But the point of it is, if he was a statesman, he would stand up and say, I will put my record up against anyone. If I have a name that everybody knows, like in the movie Distinguished Gentleman, vote for the name you know, that nonsense. Okay, you're going to vote for the name you know. Mm-hmm. But the thing about it is, the name isn't giving you the things for all of us, isn't advocating for all of us. Then you have the wrong, you're going to punch the wrong name. Mm-hmm. You want MARCUSLEWIS. That's the one you want. Because, we don't know you. Well, let me tell you something. Do you really know Jonathan Jackson? Do you really know? Do you really know? I ain't talking about, he's a frat brother. No. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about those associations, because those associations only help them. Look what happened 2 days ago. Instead of Kamala Harris, her job as vice president was to oversee the joint session of Congress for Israel. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Whether she liked him or not, it's not the issue. That's your job. And she chose to go to Indiana to a sorority function.
Yes.
To a sorority function. You are the Vice President of the United States of America. You were in the wrong place. Yes. But you had to give it to your girls. It shows a total being insensitive to the people that you are supposed to represent. You're supposed to be representing your country. And then she goes into a private meeting and coming out and she says all these flowery things that I know her Hamas protest backers really would have thrown a boot at her. But the point I'm saying is their priorities are all backwards.
You know, one nigga, let's go back to sanctuary city.
Sure.
And this is a critical question. You know what? My question is to you is that the mayors, the governor in New York, California, and Chicago, do you feel that they are letting people be classified as a sanctuary city? So once there's a law passed, they can make them illegal. They can weaponize them by getting votes and these people that have been let in. That was the Democratic Party because hey, they let us in and they can be weaponized.
Yes.
The Democratic Party to garner more votes.
Yes, not only that, Brother Clifton,
Kamala Harris
but they can also be used as an army because they were a majority of males of military age. You ever notice that?
Yes.
And, you know, it's easy to let someone in. It's hard to get them out because President Trump said he's going to take the military to get these people out of here. They're not going to leave peacefully. You're going to have shooting and you're going to have killing in the streets. You're going to have a war here. Now, I would like it not to happen. I'm not what they say, forecasting. I want this to be a peaceful depopulation, mass depopulation of our country. That if you didn't come here legally, you got to go. Period. I don't care if you have kids, take them with you. Because they want to use the birthright, the naturalization birthright that's in the Constitution. I'm saying if you are genuine, there's no anchor babies here, you have got to go. You didn't come here legally. Hear me. Do you understand what I'm saying? You didn't come here legally. I'll give you a story. Al Sharpton gave a story a long time ago saying there was a robber. He went to somebody's house and he was caught taking out somebody's TV. They called the police, apprehended him, and then took the TV in as evidence.
Yes.
He went to court, and just like they're doing now, these prosecutors, the judge let the man go and added insult to injury, injury to insult, insult to injury, they say. They let the robber keep the TV. Mm-hmm. I'm saying all of that. These illegals want to make things difficult, and there are those that are here that want to see him stay. Oh, she's been a good worker for me, he's been a good worker. Oh, why can't you let him stay? You're bad. Let's get back to basics. They're here illegally. It's illegal to be here. And if our laws don't mean anything, then when it's your turn, all of a sudden you're going to want the law enforced. You see, and so we can't do this. This lawlessness and chaos, this is the result of a stolen election. We went from peace and order. You know, God says he does things decently and in order. What we have now is total chaos and a justification for continued chaos. No. I'm not cut from that cloth. If you don't like me, don't vote for me. You only got one vote. Well, I don't know, because Democrats are going to cheat. So you might have 10 votes that you use your first vote, and then you'll put 10 in that drop box. Look, this is the mess that was made for us, Clifton. I've never seen our country in such disarray. And there are those that like chaos, got their popcorn, their jujus, and their mints, and they're sitting there just enjoying all the carnage that these people, it's going to take years to bring our country back. But we're going to do it.
Yeah. I would like to go back to the question. And I would like to do justice. Talking about the DOJ.
Department of
Department of Justice.
Okay,
They raided
Mar-a-Lago.
Okay, my question to you is what is the reason after they interviewed President Joe Biden, he had a documents that he took that was classified, and they said it's just forgiveness. What is the reason that when Hillary Clinton deleted all of these emails, why didn't the Department of Justice and DOJ act with zeal? The same thing. I'm asking you that.
Well, you also have to remember who is levying the charges. The charges were levied against Clinton for the email service she shouldn't have had, and BleachBit 30,000 emails, basically destroyed them. And you had a DOJ that allowed her to get away with that. You had Comey of the FBI that felt that even though she had violated this and violated that, he said, no, prosecutor, we're prosecuted. Then you get to Joe Biden, who had documents that under the Presidential Record Act, he did not have right to have. Only the president can make documents where they were once classified to unclassify them. Only the president can do that. The only president that's been charged is Donald Trump. And they're saying he had no right to unclassify anything because they're saying at 12 noon, the 20th of January, and I wanted to bring something to your attention. I want you to go back in history and I want you to look at it. We had 2 presidents at one time.
Yes.
Because for 13 minutes, we had 2 presidents at one time. They gave the oath of office to Joseph Robinette Biden 13 minutes before 12. Donald Trump was still the president at the time, and he had the documents. He took it to Mar-a-Lago. He had a right to have them because he declassified them. Joseph Robinette Biden has not done it. He has violated the law.
You know, and addressing this issue after interviewing him, they said he's just a forgetful man. Now he's forgetful for that. Why would he still be entitled to be president of the United States? Can you elaborate on that?
Because
I say that with all due respect.
Because, well, in all due respect, because he has a DOJ that is coddling for him. Period. It's almost like Joseph Robinette Biden and all the Democrats can do no wrong. And when you have someone that says, you know, like the special prosecutor Hur, when he interviewed him, said, well, he's just a forgetful old man, and that no jury in their right mind would convict him. That's not for you to say. That's for the jury to decide. The issue of it is the prima facie case is he has documents he has no business having. Therefore, we're going to charge him. Oh, no, we don't want to charge him because special prosecutor Hur wants to go home because they probably threatened him in some form of fight. Look, when you get to that level, that's why Kamala Harris will become president before this is all over with in this year. Not being elected, God forbid, but to be, if they become the nominee. But they're going to switch seats. He's going to resign because his son needs to be pardoned. And Joseph Robinette Biden needs to be pardoned because Trump at the debate said he was a criminal and he was going to prosecute him. And it's not that he's getting back at him like a tit for tat. He actually violated the law. Now, that's why if we don't do it, we have 2 levels of justice, which is what he's always saying.
Yes.
We have 2 levels of justice, justice for us and then justice for them.
Yes.
Clinton does no time. Biden ain't gonna do no time. Barack ain't gonna do no time. Clinton, I mean, all these other people, Merrick Garland ain't gonna do no time. All these people not gonna do no time, but they want pardons. And they've got it set up that Kamala Harris is the vice president, is going to become the president in some form, maybe for a month, maybe for a day. And all that person's going to do is sign pardons.
I'll ask you a question.
Totally unjust.
The Capitol was not raided. But the question is, the people that made the raid on the Capitol, there was someone that got arrested. He's from an organization called Proud Boys. Former President Donald Trump said he will pardon him. You think that's justified?
Yes. Because if you remember, why, and I'm going to give you a reason why. And not just him, but all those that are languishing in that D.C. jail that is about as bad as Fulton County. These people need to be pardoned simply because I saw the U.S. Capitol Police open up the gates and wave the rally goers to the Capitol building. They waved them in. They invited them to come in. Come. They were doing this. Come on. President Trump said to go make your voice heard. Be peaceful. Be peaceful. Now, what more can he do? You just didn't like it. Now that the Republicans took over the House, we see the video of these protesters being brought in and as if they're on a tour. Where are the Capitol Police? They're right there. None of them, oh no, don't go here. No, they didn't put up batons. They didn't put up barricades. No, they walked them. And the man with the horns, they escorted him throughout the Senate side. He said, I want to go to the Senate to pray. He didn't tear it up. He went and knelt down and prayed.
I got two followers.
Yes.
So you're saying the officers that were injured, that is just you're saying that's not a reality. The officers that were injured and vandalism was done. That's not a reality. That's just from the fake news.
The injuries that were sustained, they had one fatality, and that was the woman that was shot by a black man. When the officers, the Capitol Police officers, left in front, walked away from that door. Now, the people that were beating that door were insiders for the other side. They were the troublemakers. Mm-hmm. They really weren't with the protesters, because Donald Trump's protesters or Donald Trump people, they don't get in fights like that. They just don't. And so it is really disingenuous to blame because they protested. They had to write. They used their freedom of assembly. They used their freedom of to speak out, freedom of speech, to say that we do not like what's about to happen, that they're going to make this electoral college vote, they're going to count it. When Pence had the right to send it back to the states for reevaluation. And so the people that got hurt, the injured that got hurt, obviously we found out because they gave him 6 months. I forgot what the man's name was. He said the night before to the rally goers, we have to go into the Capitol. We have to go into the Capitol. We found out that he was an FBI plant. So you have this element that was threaded inside the protesters, basically leading them and guiding them to go places that they shouldn't have to be, because first of all, there'd be no way I'm going in that building. Now, I have a right to protest outside, but we weren't invited. And so I would protest outside, but to go in. But when they did let them in, the Capitol Police escorted them throughout the building. They escorted them.
Okay. Follow-up question. So you're saying that, in your opinion, it is justifiable to give executive clemency to the head of an anti-black group. The Proud Boys is just foul. That's what you're saying.
If whatever he may be, but we're talking about what happened on January 6th.
I get it.
That's what we want to remain just, because see, we'll be getting caught up in, well, they got a lot of things here. Let me tell you something. even if you were a murderer, and they're saying that you stole a bottle of water, just because you happen to have been a murderer, don't mean that you are guilty of stealing that bottle of water because, oh, well, he's a murderer, so he must be wrong. He must. No.
Yes.
Evidence. Prove it. Not what you can say. What can you show? If this man had been a hate monger of black people, he still has constitutional rights. Now, I'm not saying I'm personally for that, but if you're going to be a judge, which is what you're saying, be a judge this man's character. He's a proud boy. I don't care what he is. What did he do that day that got him put in jail? See, this is the difference between us and a third world country that don't want to go by our laws. I do. I want persons' constitutional rights. I want them to have what they call due process. And in order to have due process, that means he has a right to have a lawyer, unless he wants to represent himself. He has a right to go through the process to put forth evidence. And if it doesn't stand up, he'll be convicted. And then he'll be rightfully sentenced. Outside of that, let's not get caught up in what they may be.
I'm just trying to get understanding my audience. It's justifiable. Someone with a white. My next question to you is: when there were protests, I forget who got Trayvon Martin, Mr. Brown. When there were protesters, on one side there were anti-black, anti-group, like I want to say KKK, alienation on the side. President Donald Trump made the statement that there were good people on both sides.
I remember when he said it, and I only have an opinion, Brother Clifton.
Yes.
The only thing I can say is when he said there was good people on both sides, obviously it makes one cringe to say that the Aryan nation or whatever they are have good people. But in actuality, they may have good people, just like on our side that we would assimilate with, has bad people and good people too. The issue of it is the person that said it. That's where the rift really is. They don't like Donald Trump, period. You know why they don't like Donald Trump? Because he gets things done and they know what he stands for. He, as president, said Jesus Christ is Lord. Over the lectern with the presidential seal. Now, that is a big deal for a lot of people.
I would like to ask you, who's been a candidate that you would say there are good people on both sides, Aryan nation, KKK, and black. There are good people on both sides. I'm asking you to candidate.
Of course, there are good people on both sides. Let me tell you something. The only one that has exhibited evil are the ones that are doing what they're doing to Donald Trump. 34 counts that were absolutely nonsense to strip him of his money and his liberty. Frivolous. A woman that 20 years ago said he walked her into some a room at a store and sexually assaulted her, yet she can't remember the day. She can't remember what she had on. She can't remember anything. And she went on Rachel Maddow saying, after she got this $89 million, remember she had already been given $5 million, and just simply because Donald Trump said something contrary to that, all of a sudden they go back to court and get 89 million more, of which I don't believe, if the process works out, she's probably not going to get a dime. But the issue of it is, these are the type of nonsensical issues they're bringing it upon him. What could one man have done that he deserves 94 charges from all Democratic areas and cities and prosecutors? So this is a political thing. All of them, there's not one Republican prosecutor here. it's ridiculous. I'm not standing up to him. I'm just calling it what it is. I'm an outsider watching it just like you, but I want you to, I'm looking at all the information. And these are Democratic prosecutors. All of them. These issues that are bringing up are so lightweight. That's why the documents case got thrown out in Florida. Thrown out. Jack Smith. Hold on. Jack Smith wasn't even legally made a special prosecutor. It has to be done by the Congress, by the Senate. And that's why it was thrown out. That killed both his case in Washington and in Florida. He's not even legal to do what he's doing. But the DOJ put him up to it.
Yes. These
shenanigans. Now, you must be a Trump lover. That's not the issue. We're talking about justice, truth, and justice. But by the grace of God, what if somebody lines up 100 charges against you? You got to defend. And you know you're innocent, but you got to fight them. And then you find out all these people are lined up against you. These people are in the pocket of those that are trying to prevail in an election over you.
You know what? I would like to ask you, can you address the people that are considering voting for Vice President Kamala Harris? Does she care about black people? I recall reading, she said racism does not exist in America. It should be towards the benefit of Kamala Harris.
The people like her are what we call it starters. And they want to gain their fame on nonsensical talk. Mm-hmm. We all know racism exists in this country. Maybe not to the degree where they're calling you the N-word openly, but their actions reflect it. That's not the real issue here. She brings nothing to the table. The woman is not intelligent. And I'm not talking about, well, look where she got. Look how far she got. We don't know how she got there. But look how the woman talks.
Strong lady.
I beg your pardon?
She's a strong lady. I was listening to what she said. Donald Trump said he would vote for the debate anytime. Strong lady.
Let me tell you something. A lot of that is what they call when we're in the on the street, we call that street talk. Oh yeah, bring it on. But he said you might still not be the nominee. First of all, not nobody voted for you. They voted for Joe Biden. And they disenfranchised 14 million voters. And they did that purposely to make sure it was a closed election. New Hampshire, they closed. Florida, they didn't even have a primary there at all. They made sure RFK couldn't be in any Democratic primary. There was not going to be any significant challenge to Joe Biden. They planned this, Brother Clifton. So they can do what they're doing now, that the so-called elite would choose the nominee. Not the people, but the elite would choose who they were going to. Of course, that person is going to do everything they want. Not for you, but for them. You see, they don't care about the United States of America. They just care about themselves. And some people would say, well, that's how it is. Well, then I call that treason. Because it's going to lead to that. This is not a third world country. It really isn't, though it's being turned into one.
Yes. And you know what? We don't mind it. We've been talking for 2 hours.
Just about.
You know what? So, why should people vote for Donald Trump and vote for you?
Well, the reason why they should vote for Donald Trump, because I have confidence in his abilities, because I've seen it when he was president for 4 years. We had no wars. We had people not coming over the border like it doesn't exist. Because you don't have a border, you don't have a country. And so he stands up to want to uphold the Constitution. Whether you like him or not, it's not the issue. The issue of it is he following the Constitution? Do you have money in your pocket? Are you able to feed your family? Do you have a job to go to? Is the country running smoothly, at least to a point? The country now, I was in Walmart in 2020, fruit cocktail at Walmart was $1.86. Right now, it's $3.64. Gas was $1.87. Now it's $4 and something. $5 you get premium. Some people's cars only take premium. This is unsustainable. You can't get a house. The interest rates are so high. You can't get a house even if you got good credit. And if you have good credit and can find a decent home, it's $400,000 and $500,000 and $600,000. And you're just getting started. New family. I'm gonna tell you, you can't afford that. You can't even afford an apartment. They want $1,800 to $2,500 for a one-bedroom apartment. The reason, let me answer your question. The reason why they should vote for me, because I am you.
Yes.
I understand the things that common people are going through because I'm common myself. I'm not no big I. I'm a little you. And I'm not saying you're a little. I'm saying if I was a big you, a big me, speaking like that, big me, I want you to big too.
Yes.
But our issues must be addressed federally. You need a voice that's not going to sit here and play with you with some nonsense. I'm talking about get the job done for the masses of the people. Marcus Lewis's name is on every ballot in every precinct in the 1st Congressional District. I'm asking you to use it. I'm asking you to vote for me. I'm asking you to vote for President Trump because they don't even know who their nominee is. Really? And the person they got there don't even want to consider themselves black. Oh, they may want the color, but they don't want the struggle. They don't want that black struggle. Oh, no. And she said she ain't black. She said she's a South Indian.
Yeah. All right.
I understand what she said.
Yes.
Yeah. And you know what?
Yes. And you know what? This is the last question in sanctuary.
City, when you talk about
people not being able to afford
and inflation, what this
pick up with the influx
of
people coming to Chicago,
New York, and California
sanctuary cities.
Would this drive down the wage?
Yes.
Because these workers,
Let me tell you something. The thing about America's always enjoyed slavery in some form or fashion. They always love going to the low-cost labor countries like Thailand, Vietnam, China, and all the like. That's why they're not here. President Trump said, "You're coming back home." Right now, the illegal has it better than a regular American citizen. They're giving them $50,000 for their first startup home at zero interest loan. $50,000. What are they giving you, American? They're not giving you nothing. They are replacing us. Now they want them to be voters. That's a Democratic scheme.
Wow.
That's a Democratic scheme. You see, they're all about some type of con job. Yes. I'm not saying Republicans have never been there, but look, I'm not a Reagan Republican. I'm not a Bush Republican. I'm not a Goldwater Republican, Nixon Republican. No, I'm a Donald J. Trump Republican. But first, above all, I'm an American and I'm a child of the Most High God. And I'm here to tell you, I'm doing everything I can to help you. I'm on the ballot. The one thing, you don't need millions of dollars. I'm on the ballot. Do you need millions of dollars for you to push or punch my name? No, you just have to dig down deep and say, I want better than just a name we know.
Okay, you know what, we'll wind down.
How do we help your
campaign and how do
campaign the man,
Jonathan Jackson,
to take shit and stop
running away from
you because he does not want to
deal with these issues.
Verbally.
Well, once again, I'm going to give you his number one more time. Hope that satisfies some, because they say he didn't tell us. Ed Ham is Jonathan Jackson's chief of staff, HAMB. His number is 713-203-4513. Call him and tell him to debate me, because I've already put it to him 3 times and they basically have ignored, because they figure they don't have to. Now, I'm here to tell you that's a disservice to the constituents, because this is a public job. If it be me, it wouldn't matter. I'm going to debate, because I'm going to stand on my record, and that's the way it is. Other than that, then you claiming it as this is my seat, and I ain't going to take a chance, because I don't want the voters to vote me out. But again, there's an old adage. It's not who votes, it's who counts the vote. So I can, that's how elections are stolen. You see, it's not who votes. You can have 1 million people vote for you, but all of a sudden the other side still wins. How did that happen? Because the one that counted the votes was working or had incentive from the person they wanted in there.
What would you say to this part of the entitlement?
Absolutely. Look, he could be whatever he wants. One thing I did, he should, as a congressperson, since he's got the job, he should stand before the constituents and vote the other side. I am not just a candidate. I'm the Republican nominee. He didn't have a challenger. I won my primary, so I'm raring to go. I understand what a victory is. He could say, well, I won in 22. That'd be true, but only 18,000. You only won by with a total of 18,000 in your primary. Of course, it's a Democratic district, so of course they gave it to you in the general, but there were 17 candidates. I was one of them. You only got 18,000 votes. 18,000. That's all. I've had more than that in my primary myself. 18,000. Let me tell you something. That brother needs to stand before the people with me standing next to him, and we can, like they say, let's get ready to rumble. Let's get it on. Let's get this question and answer session so the people can see who they really want in that seat.
Yes. Sir, you know what, but I've been asking you questions. Perhaps there is something that you wanted to say that I did not give you the opportunity to say. And I'm going to give you a lot of time for you.
To all your listeners and to all those that aren't looking live but looking in record, I thank you for watching this broadcast. I thank you for this brother, Clifton, for bringing this forum up and giving me the opportunity that you may be able to ask me questions and then they'll be able to hear me out. Hopefully there's something that you can take and you can say, well, I'm gonna think about that. And I'm thinking about that brother. That brother said some very profound things. If I cause you to at least think, and please think before it becomes illegal, I'm asking you to consider me strongly to be your next congressman. Because this is not a joke. This is not dress rehearsal. This is real life. We need someone like myself, and I have done a whole lot to get this far. And all I need is the voters. Now, what I need you to do, go to my website. I'm not asking you for your money. That's what most politicians ask for. They ask for your money. I'm asking you to go get 10 to 20 people and get them registered to vote. I want you to get excited about living in America, that we're going to put Marcus Lewis, a common man. I'm an ordinary man doing an extraordinary thing. And I'm thankful for that. I thank God. I give God the glory in Jesus' name. But I am here to assist us. The job is only 730 days. And then after that, I'll stand before you again. We'll have town halls. I'm not going off to Washington. You'll never hear from me. We're going to have monthly town halls when I'm congressman. And we're going to have people that are from the district in the office. Yes. So they can see from the inside how government works and how a district office should help the constituents. We're not going to have these pros. No, we're going to have common people like myself in the office, and there are a lot of competent people. When I win, best believe, ding, 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 ring, 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 ring. My phone's gonna be blowing up, and we'll have our people ready to take your resumes, and I will interview you myself, because the type of office I want is one that works for us. My last thing I'm saying, my campaign theme is putting us first. Not everybody else last, but putting us first. Brother Clifton, thank you so much for having me.
You know what? Indeed, it is a pleasure. I wish you make Congressman. Don't forget about Underground
Absolutely.
Railroad Podcast.
Hallelujah.
Okay. So please support the Underground Railroad Podcast.
Support this brother. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Only the Father's good. Only God.
God is good, but then he puts on those whom he have pleasure to do that. And so we're asking him for his mercy and his grace.
Yes. And you know what? And please, I ask people to share this on social media platforms.
Please do.
YouTube. You know what? Congressman Jonathan Jackson must debate him because he is a public official.
Yeah.
You should have the opportunity, voters, registered voters, to be able to get the opportunity to get both sides, and they make a decision.
I'll say this: if he doesn't debate, don't vote for him, because he doesn't care about you. He doesn't want to hear from you. He said, just give me a vote and I'll see you in 2 years. That's not an efficient way of running our seat of government. It's our federal voice, and he's not speaking loudly. He's not saying the things I want to hear. He's not voting the way I want him to vote. And so we want to break up this machine and put in a new thing. It's called doing it right from the very beginning.
And before we leave, I ask you one more time to give your contact information so people can help you in your endeavor, and people can put pressure on Jonathan Jackson, Congressman Jonathan Jackson of the First District in Chicago, Illinois, to debate, to put pressure on. Can you give that permanent information? Get that permanent information.
You can call me at 708-287-7531. That's a direct line to me. Go to MarcusLewisForCongress.org is my website. And once again, you can call Ed Ham. Now look, I'm giving you the number. 713-203-4513. Ed Ham is Jonathan Jackson's chief of staff. And outside of that, I can do no more. And then you can also do one thing that we all need to do, and that's pray. And that's God to touch these people's heart, because they're ignoring us, they're running from us. But what we want is what's best for our families and our area and our country. That's what we want.
I think Congressman Jonathan Jackson knows we're coming for him. He can't run. He can't hide.
He knows I'm on the ballot, that's for sure.
He can't run or hide.
No, sir. Brother Clifton, thank you so kindly. I appreciate you.
All right, man. You take care of yourself. All right. And, all right. And you know what? You're looking at the Underground Railroad Podcast. I think it is always vital to hear two sides. You know, once you approach the Jacksons to try to get an interview, but there was no response. And you know what? That's their right. You have the right to go on whatever platform that you think is valuable. So I hold no animosity whatsoever. You know, so you know, but the Republican Party is on the move. But if you're a Democrat, you know, sit back and analyze the information that was put before you. Looking at the Underground Railroad, we come on. Next show we do probably will be next Sunday. If it's Allah's will, it will be on Project 2025. What is Project 2025? I'm still doing research to find out what's that all about. So thank you for the people in the United States, Canada, Asia, Africa, the UK, Europe, Alaska, all China, all these countries, all of them. And to my listening audience, I leave you in the words of Assalamu alaikum. It means peace and blessings be upon you. And no matter where you are, and if you found this broadcast to be beneficial, you learned something, I stimulated thought, I'm asking you humbly to share it on your social media platform.